All right, and we welcome back to our show Fairfield University's Dr. Yohuru Williams. He's here now to talk about New York City's proposal to ban supersized soft drinks. Good to have you back.
Good to see you, Laura.
We all have heard about 16 ounces and above being proposed to be banned. What are the origins, though, of this?
Well, I think two things in particular. Concern about the health of the young people in the city of New York, an increase in juvenile diabetes and other diseases and illnesses related to that, to obesity. And then secondly, a generalized concern about, in New York in particular, and we saw this with the ban on trans fat, and then certainly with the posting of calories, how much unhealthy foods people are taking in. So
there's a lot of resistance. What do you attribute it to?
Well, I think it's two things. Again, I think number one, it's civil libertarians who are saying this is, undemocratic. If people should have access to whatever it is that they want, and the market should dictate that access. And then secondly, people who say this is an overstretch in terms of government, and government seems to be intruding in the lives of people in ways that are not healthy in a democracy.
So kind of the best intent, do the ends justify the means, perhaps, in this?
Well, it's funny because governments typically look at this in terms of their police powers. And in 1873, the United States Supreme Court, in a very interesting case, the Slaughterhouse cases, talked about governments being able to legislate based on three things: health, safety, and morals. Now, when that regulation is health, you have the strongest case. The smoking ban, for example, is a good example. When it's morals, like prohibition, it's a lot harder to make that case. So we saw what a tobacco prohibition turned out to be after the turn of the century. We're looking at this now, and some people are saying this is a harder sell in terms of those categories.
But I didn't realize that, and I don't think a lot of people do, that the state and local and state authorities can regulate areas like this. So what are the chances of this actually getting passed into law?
It all depends on the resistance that the city receives. Now, we saw today the city of Cambridge, Massachusetts, in anticipation of this going through in New York, is saying this is something we might do. So there are a lot of municipalities and states that are looking at this and saying, if there's no pandemonium in the streets of New York as a result, we might consider something akin to this. But it all depends on what plays out in New York right now. That's the ground zero, the battleground.
And again, you've got, the ban on 16 ounces. So what's to stop somebody from buying 12 ounces and having 24 ounces?
Laura, that's exactly the point. And a lot of people are looking at this and saying the enforcement angle of this is going to be problematic, certainly. Right. Do we want to see government expenditures to deal with this issue? It just seems in some sense when a campaign of public information might be a better alternative to be almost ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a big cup. What if it's filled with water? Are we going to have police saying, open up your cup, let me check out is this a diet soda? Because diet sodas are exempt.
They certainly are. And so again, it does raise all of these issues. Certainly there's a broad array of people in government, in corporations that are opposed to this for obvious reasons. So the enforcement angle is problematic. Certainly singling out soft drinks when you can talk about sugary snacks is also. And then the other thing is that New York hasn't gotten a lot of support from some of the obvious allies. Like the First Lady, for example, has been noticeably lukewarm on this.
That's a good point, because is it simply sugary sodas that lead to obesity? Where's the medical proof here that orange juice and other things filled with calories, Gatorade, a sports drink, I don't want to single out a particular name brand here, aren't the cause as well? Fast foods.
Absolutely. Now, New York took steps, again, ahead of the curve in terms of the country, of posting calories or the calorie contents of those fast food items. But, that's one thing. Public information and helping people make healthy decisions is one alternative. Banning outright always gets you into trouble.
Any other final thoughts that you can add? Any other similar cases that have passed or have not passed that you can leave us on these last 30 seconds here?
Just that I think that it's important that we recognize that it's great that the city wants to do something to combat the rising health costs and other things. But again, anytime you're tinkering with civil liberties, you're going to get backlash. All
right, well, it will be an interesting case to see how it unfolds, and we thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Always great seeing you.
Look forward to seeing you back again.